Record once removed. That's the political way of doing it. So welcome to my home, welcome to the building, and I hope you have a wonderful time here this evening. And thanks to Tim for coming out and helping us out. I want to take a few minutes to introduce a friend of mine, someone who I got to know really well through the 2011 election and the 2014 election, and then in the year that I spent working at Queen's Park, working on a few files that I believe Mr. Clark had the opportunity to work with me on. So. For those of you that don't know, Steve has been elected once and re-elected 4 times to serve as an M.P.P for Leeds, Grenville, Rideau River, Thousand Islands. Another election, he'll add another 2 words to the end of it, and we'll figure out how that works. So Steve, again, re-elected on the 4th time, and we're really lucky. His experience municipally as the youngest mayor of the city of Brockville, and for a while he was the youngest mayor in all of Canada. He's worked with the municipalities, also worked with townships of Leeds and Grenville, so he's got a lot of experience in the role that Mr. Ford asked Mr. Clark to take on, and that was as our Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. So I have a long introduction, but I want to give my time to Steve. So Steve, welcome to Ottawa Centre.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks to everybody for coming here for this event in such challenging weather. So we're Canadian. We tough it out, but I really do want to thank you because it means a lot to the Riding Association for you to come out and support them. So I've been out in Ottawa Centre before. I remember speaking at Rob's nomination and at his AGM. So I appreciate the work that's been done on the ground here in Ottawa Centre. I want to thank Colleen who asked me along with Rob to come and speak to you tonight. It was a pleasure for me to accept. And in Ottawa Centre fashion, they did it really far in advance, so there was a lot of advance planning. No, that was great. So, and I want to thank Karen as well as a past candidate along with Colleen. We had a great team in the last election. We made a lot of gains, and I think both of you did a tremendous job during the election. You made us all proud. I want to thank Carol for being a candidate federally. I think. Wow, who would have thought that we'd be in the middle of what we're involved in federally with the Prime Minister? You know, it gives Andrew Scheer and our team a real great opportunity, and I think good things are going to happen. At my riding of Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes, we had our MP Gord Brown pass away earlier last year. He was a great friend of mine. We grew up together. We're the same age. We're born 3 months apart, and I miss him a lot. But we had an opportunity this year to elect a new MP because of Gord's passing. His name is Michael Barrett. Was elected on December 3rd, and really, by-elections, and I got elected in a by-election in 2010. By-elections are a real opportunity to send the existing government a message. So in Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes, Michael Barrett on December the 3rd sent a message with 58% of the vote of our by-election. So a very, very strong affirmation of what Andrew Scheer and the federal party are doing. So good luck to you, Carol. And let's make sure that we use the same Ottawa enthusiasm on the campaign trail for candidates like Carol in the city of Ottawa. So I'm going to give you all a number to start out my address. The number is 243, and that's the amount of days that our government has been in office. Hard to believe that you look at what happened on June the 7th, what happened on June the 29th when Premier Ford organized a cabinet that would represent ridings across this province. Great opportunity. And let's face it, normally when a new government gets elected in the summer, they take their oath. They probably get back together around Thanksgiving for a throne speech, probably get the throne speech passed by Christmas, and then all the real work starts that following year leading up to the budget. I think you agree, that's not our government. We sat during the summer, we sat on weekends. I made my colleagues sit all night one night to get a little bill passed that dealt with governance in the city of Toronto. But we did a lot of great things because we made a promise and then we kept the promise. You know, we said we were going to get rid of the carbon tax and we put a plan in place to do that. We said we were going to reduce hydro rates and we're well on our way to meet that mandate. We said we were going to cut red tape and put money back into people's pockets, and we've been doing that. We've been consistently making sure that we put policies forward that make, you know, not just to make Ontario open for business, but more importantly, make Ontario open for jobs. And whether it be to freezing driver's license fees, freezing some of the other charges that were planned by the previous government, or just making sure we have our business priorities straight. That's the other shot of whiskey you're all supposed to have. You know, it's making sure that we put Ontarians first with everything we do. And every member of our team got a nameplate to put on our desk that said "For the People." And what do we do with that? We put that on our desks so that every decision we make, we keep that in mind. How are those decisions going to help people? How are they going to make us more competitive? How are they going to create a climate where job opportunities are number one? And I think over the next little while, as we move towards our April 11th budget with my friend, the Honourable Vic Fideli, I think we're going to see us again keep that lens to make promise made, promise kept. And you know, so my job, I'm as Rob said, I'm Ontario's Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. I've set a mandate with my municipal partners and my housing providers, both in the public and private sector, that I'm going to be judged by, on the housing side, shovels in the ground. You know, when they look at whether we do our development faster, where we try to deal with the speed. It takes too long to build some affordable housing projects. There's too much cost in the system. There's not the right mix of putting the right types of home in the right places. There's challenges both on the rental side. Landlords are saying it's hard to get in that business and hard to be in that business. Tenants are saying that they want more consumer protection. And then finally, there's a lot of innovation out there. There's a lot of really innovative things that are happening in other jurisdictions that don't seem to be happening in Ontario. So over the coming weeks, we're analyzing over 2,000 submissions that we had under my Housing Supply Action Plan, and those submissions are going to help inform our government on very important policy items that will form a piece of legislation that hopefully will get those shovels in the ground and deal with the housing crisis. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Ottawa or Oshawa, it doesn't matter whether you're in Kenora or Kingston or Kincardine. You know, vacancy rates are at an all-time low. Most communities, including the city of Ottawa, consistently come to their government to say that there's a housing crisis. So I'm going to be judged on how quick I can get shovels in the ground, how I can mobilize the sector to make sure that whether it's purpose-built rental or whether it's a mix of triplexes or townhomes or tiny homes, that we take into consideration what a particular community needs. So, excellent, thank you. That's good, that's good. The other thing on the municipal side is, you know, one of the first opportunities I had to speak was right here in the city of Ottawa at the AMO conference last August. And I talked about some of my priorities. One of them was obviously streamlining development approvals, giving municipalities a little bit of a break in all the government forms and all the challenges. We give municipalities quite a reporting burden, and in many cases they're the same things. They're duplicative reports. They're reports that I may ask for on the housing side that maybe environment asks just a slightly different way of the same information. Finance has, you know, certainly performance measures. So we've got to be able, if I'm going to challenge some of my towns and cities and townships to streamline some of the approval process, you know, I've also got to relieve their burden, and I've got to make sure that I am very mindful of what we're asking them to do. So there's a lot of things going on. Obviously, we want to look at it with a lens that we want our municipal partners to be as effective and efficient as possible. For those that live outside of Eastern Ontario and some of Ontario's regions, we're doing a regional government review today. I just announced an online consultation to give suggestions. So we've got lots of things happening in our government. You're never going to hear about the Doug Ford government sitting and taking an extended period of time off. We go pedal to the metal all the time to try to make life better for Ontarians. That's where we're at. So, I also want to say, just in closing, how appreciative I am to Ottawa Centre that you only had one shot of whiskey from the whiskey tasting before I spoke. Because you seem to be very, very polite right now. You're not invoking, sort of question period volume back at me. So, but I do want to thank you for your past support of this riding. I do want to say again that I hope you'll take that same enthusiasm provincially and help our federal colleagues. It's very important that we support each other moving forward. Anyway, I think it's been 20 minutes, so you're probably ready for your second tasting. Anyways, thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to talking with you again. Please continue to support our government. Please continue to consult with our government. Thank you very much. God bless you.
To thank Steve for coming here. I wrote this out, but anyway, it meant a lot. It really was very kind of you, very generous, and we're very grateful, our Riding Association, and the opportunity to spend time with you. We have a small token of our appreciation. They are official Canadian whiskey glasses with Canadian etching.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
So my friend helped me pick them out. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I hope you can enjoy it in the rest of your March break.
Absolutely. Thanks.
And remember us.
Yeah, stay safe out there.
Everybody has thanked, but I would just like to say, for those of you I browbeat, I hope you still like me.
Everybody likes you.
I've called some of you like 4 times. I had all kinds of stories.